All right, we are in it for another week of 9 Chickweed Lane strips going back all the way to 1993, the summertime when the strip did debut. Here we have Etta, who is arguing to the point of tears with her mother. You see here, this is what becomes a trademark of 9 Chickweed Lane. Horrifying mouths. And it's hard to tell who broke into tears first. But these two women are really having a knockdown, drag-out fight. And at this point, Etta asks, "What are we fighting about?" And the mother replies, "I don't remember." Then, this must be war. And they hold each other. Another strip where they are faced with the horrors of their own reality, and they hold each other wide-eyed, not knowing what else to do. Just cling on to the one constant in your life, no matter how much that thing may hurt you. We'll go forward to July 20th, 1993. There was a time when I wanted to look just like Mom when I grew up. Later, I wanted to look like my Barbie doll. After that, it was Lauren Bacall and To Have and Have Not. I'm not familiar with that film. Now, I'd be satisfied if I just didn't look like seaweed. All right. Yeah, I don't feel like commenting on this one. Going forward, July 21st of 1993, why don't you ever write me letters? The grandmother says to Mrs. Berber. Mrs. Berber walks away in panel 2. Panel 3, we see that she is writing a letter. In panel 4, the senior Berber says, she sees that there is a letter and it reads, "Because we live in the same home." And that's pretty much a joke right there. That's good. "What's wrong?" asks the male character who is yet unnamed. Etta says, "I always feel responsible for Mom and Dad's divorce. If I had only been someone he wanted to be with, he wouldn't have dropped out on Mom." And he says, "But I always want to be with you." "You're not going to give me a noogie, are you?" And again, the people in this strip so far are experiencing such intense emotion, brought to tears constantly. But I mean, I come from a broken home, a split household of, I've been a child of divorce, and I definitely was emotionally unpredictable for a long time, so I can relate to this. It's seeming that this boy is a bit of a pervert. Now, this might be a bit of a self-insert for Brooke here, this character. Time will tell if that's the case. But, he always wants to be with Etta. Even though he did question her body, her hips a few strips ago. But he's cautious. He has feelings for her, but seems that she doesn't normally return the affection. And so when she grabs him, crying, holding him, again, another strip that ends with someone being so overwhelmed that all they can do is cling on to the nearest human. He's confused and overwhelmed and is trying to make sure this isn't going to end in, physical retribution. Going forward to July 23rd of 1993. "Mom, how would you define oppression?" The mother and the grandmother sit there with their probably coffee and tea, respectively. The mother looks over at the grandmother. Now, in the last panel, it says, "Look it up in the dictionary, honey. That's what it's there for." You can see, and I'm kind of giving it away, but the mother sees her own mother as the definition of oppression. That is what's being implied here. That's, unhealthy relationships are always very funny. Going forward, Mom, there's a guy ogling you over there. Shh. Hey, throw a swimsuit issue pose. Knock his eyes out. Please, 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 please. Etta, be quiet. Wow, he walked right into the lifeguard's tower. And, Etta's there striking a pose. Now you see a hint of her. Now this is not me trying to be too horny. I'm just trying to keep track of the horny development of the strip, which becomes arguably, I'd say, next to a strip like Luann, one of the horniest comics around. A glimpse of the cleavage, but then the cleavage comes full on out right there, and you can tell Brooke had fun doing this. And Brooke again is showing how nightmarish the mouths can be on his characters with Mrs. Berber right here. Boy, that was fun. Do it again, Mom. Etta, be quiet. And then she thinks to herself, boy, that was fun. I wonder what book she's reading. That's a big book to bring to the beach. Assuming they're at the beach, All right, and we're here with another Sunday strip. And again, a rehash of last week's title card there, title panel, but I do rather enjoy that. The lettering on here, it reminds me of the Partridge Family or something like that. Etta is thinking to herself, I sense a gathering blast from the deep vaults of guilt. The grandmother goes, grumble. There she blows. I'm using that voice to indicate internal monologue. Young people today are so thankless. A mother endures 9 months of pregnancy, then labor, then birth. She gives her flesh and blood to her child, but does she hear any thanks? Ever? She glares. I'm assuming they're playing Monopoly together. Kind of looks like Monopoly from where I'm at. They continue their board game, ignoring her. Grumble. Etta says to her mother, thanks for the use of the womb. You bet. And so, now what's going on here, really? If we analyze it, this woman just sits in a chair and stews and then expresses her discomfort. And even, not in the most healthy or direct way, but does communicate that she's just looking for a thank you from her daughter for raising her, for, the womb, for all that stuff. And she's ignored, entirely ignored. And the last panel, by the facial expressions, you can see that they're just sick of her. They just couldn't give a damn about what this old lady has to say. And they all live together. And that's got to be, I don't want to make any assumptions. Now, in an earlier strip, Etta did say she felt responsible for the divorce of her parents, of, Mrs. Berber and the, estranged Mr. Berber. If the mother was living with the couple, I I have to think that she was maybe a force that could have, worked to drive that marriage apart. But that's all we have for this week. Thanks for joining me on another dive into the history of 9 Chickweed Lane by one Brooke Mick L. Downey, notoriously horny Brooke. Join me next time as we do another week's worth of strips, and we'll eventually catch up to the modern day. But in the meantime, be safe. Thank you.